Hello and welcome to GPTV on Tuesday the 5th of March. My name's Philip Kingston.
And I'm Gary Peer.
Gary, what an amazing weekend that we have just finished.
It pumped, Phil. It went off. And I've got to say, the biggest weekend we've probably had in, I reckon, 3 months in terms of volume of transactions, I've got to say.
Viewers, so you know, we had 38 auctions for the week, 38, and we sold 32 out of 38 for an 84% clearance rate against the industry average, Gary, of what? Have you done your homework on that?
Approximately 68%, I think,
68%.
Might be even less than that, but let's put 68%.
82 smashes, 68.
Put up towers.
Any day of the week, I'm going to sprinkle some confetti.
Some Bose music.
Yep, thank you very much.
Love
because
that.
I think anything over a 70% clearance rate, Gary, is worth celebrating. But when you get to 80%, that's just fabulous. And 82% really does go to show that the team at Gary Peer & Associates, together with our brilliant processors, is the magic formula.
Well, we never got 80% at school for anything, did we, Phil?
No,
Let's face
Gary.
it. The only thing I ever got 80% for was absenteeism, Philip. That was probably about it, unfortunately. In fact, there's people still that discover that I was at the same school and said, I never knew you were at school with me. And I said, well, I wasn't there that often.
Yes,
so, you know, but if you would have come down to
it's
TAB, you
quite
would have
a
seen me.
good little piece of humour that you got 80% for absenteeism. You've never used that line. You've kind of circled around it, but I think you've nailed it after all of these years. You've actually had an original piece of material that I didn't have to give you that was actually mildly humorous.
Very excited about that. That's good. Good way to start your week then, Phil. There's always something to bring to the show, isn't there, Phil, every week? And I heard something.
Some weeks we do struggle.
We try to stay away.
Like this week.
We try to stay away from crime. We try to stay away from politics, right?
Crime and politics.
But somehow they're connected now. And before you sort of get nervous about what I'm going to say,
no idea.
There was
this is an unscripted show. Viewers.
Always is. There was an incident in the city, right? And there's someone got pushed over in this incident, which was not the issue I'm talking about, right? But what happened is they said that the man who got pushed over was an elderly man, and then they said he was a senior man, and then I worked out he was our age. So I found that, I mean, forget about the bloke, whatever happened to him happened, but, you know, the story of it being someone senior or elderly, and then they named his age, and it was your age and my age, it gave me a little bit of a shock. Got to say,
Gary,
time goes fast.
We're not as young as we used to be, but
I'd
like to think, Gary, that we're still contemporary. We can still cut it with conversation with young people. But what is a young person today? I suppose anybody under the age of 40 is probably young. There's 40 viewers. What is the decade where you click over from youth?
Well, hang on. We're not senior, right? That, I won't hear of that. I won't be senior. And, you know, and we're the good combination because, you know, you're very fit. You know, so you've got the figure, the body. I've got the mind, right?
Yes.
Unfortunately, you know,
you've got the nocturnal habits of a young person.
Yes, I have got the nocturnal habits. I always have had those, and that's a peer thing. It just keeps going, and that's why I say between the two of us, we never close.
That's right.
We're open 24/7. When you wake up, I go to bed, and
when I'm getting out of bed, he's getting into bed.
Exactly right.
That is unfortunately true.
It is true, but anyway, it keeps us going. Somehow it works. I don't know, but anyway, I don't want to be thought of, and I don't consider myself as a senior. Do you ever consider yourself a senior? I don't do all the work.
Pay a bit of attention to your eyebrows, like you've got the.
love those eyebrows,
but those eyebrows, it's like
you know what, viewers? It's called
an owl.
It's
you
called
look like an owl.
Al Bundy. It's called eyebrow envy, and for Philip is going to share that. Unfortunately, that little bit of sadness.
If you go bald, right, and you're not going to go bald because you've got pretty good hair.
I got nothing against bald.
You got pretty good hair.
I'm not going bald.
You could just comb over your eyebrows. You could do a comb over starting from your eyebrows.
In one slick movement. There we go. Anyway, look, I'll join you perhaps in that.
I reckon I could run barefoot through your eyebrows.
Look, I'll join you in some of the cosmetic, activities that you involve yourself with, but eventually. But while I'm young, Philip, I'm just going to keep it au naturel
you're young and
for now.
Everything's tight and taut and beautiful, Gary,
isn't it,
you'll just continue what you're doing. Can we somehow relate all of this nonsense to the real estate market? Because, Gary, at 82%, we sold properties from $350,000 all the way into multi-millions of dollars and everything in between. Do you think there's a hot spot in the market?
Do you think people consider you a senior? Do you think that's something? Because I'm bothered by this.
I'm trying to move on.
But imagine, do you think your kids think we're seniors?
I'm going to move on.
All right,
got a bit of a shout out to Richard Thank you, Richard, for
had a
again
great result.
employing us together with your lovely sister, who is genetically far more perfect than you are, just for the record.
Not just saying.
Yeah, not just saying, and we mean that in a non-sleazy way.
Nothing wrong with Richard.
Just a statement of fact. You are a good-looking guy, Richard.
Fellow.
But we like to have a shout out to you because you are one of our best watchers of the show, and also one of the best supporters of our business, and an all-round great guy. So thank you. He was successful with his apartment sale. That went rather well in one of our midweek auctions. Gary, we'll use that as a segue to talk about how good our midweek auctions are.
He's not the only supporter of our business, but he could be the only watcher of the show. This could all be just for you, Richard. Anyway, midweek auctions. Don't we love the twilight? We love a good twilight auction. And, you know, we had that auction in Orrong Road, which went very well, and congratulations to the buyer and seller alike. But then I went off to Jean Street in McKinnon, Phil, and my goodness, did that go off. And, you know, when you think of a twilight auction, you think of a warm evening where, you know, people are just sort of in their short still, or just getting into that chill time at home where work's over and they're in between work and bed and work and dinner. And that auction, I got to say, was a cracking auction, Philip. Jeremy Rosens did a superb job together with his team. This is 5 Jean Street, McKinnon, where we thought we might get somewhere in that sort of mid to high ones, but lo and behold, Philip, it just kept going and going and going. And as a result, I think of that McKinnon High School zone is a very, very big thing for a lot of people. They are fighting to get into that McKinnon High School zone. So if you're curious about whether that's standing up in terms of values and performing, gee, it is. People love to get into McKinnon High. So that was a hot auction. Philip, I then went off after the midweeks on Saturday morning and started in the fair shores of Cheltenham. I love Cheltenham. That whole Cheltenham, Mentone, Hyatt belt there, across there, it's a great area, isn't it?
Well, we do so much business down there. You know, Cheltenham, Hyatt, Moorabbin, even pushing down into Seaford with that auction. So that that belt there is absolutely thumping. I think, you know, since they've done the railway line overpasses and underpasses, suburbs that have kind of been called sleeper suburbs are really starting to thump because all of the traffic movement has improved. So
and now we've got
made it more accessible.
We've got that big train network now going from, is it Cheltenham to, I think it's Cheltenham to Box Hill, which I don't know why anyone would particularly want to go. I mean, I don't know. I don't get a lot of people, I don't see a lot of people in Cheltenham saying, can you give me a lift to Box Hill? I just can't get there. I don't get that.
It only costs like $5 billion.
I mean, I understand go to the airport from the city, right? That I get. Like, I understand that. You know, I want to go to the airport.
10 years ago, if you'd gone down to Cheltenham and just walked along the beach area or the promenade and just going, just as a matter of interest, we're doing a vox pop. Where would you like to go? If you could get on a train from Cheltenham, where would you like to go? And overwhelmingly, people just going, Box Hill.
Got to get to Box Hill. Got to get to Box Hill. Got to try to get there today. I'm in a rush to get there. And then there's people at Box Hill saying, look, I'm really missing Cheltenham at the moment. You know, I just want to be in Cheltenham. I don't understand.
To all of the cabinet ministers that watch this show that are responsible for infrastructure in the state of Victoria, you know, making Victoria great again, or Melbourne's marvellous, or whatever, just if you could just send in the answer to why did you feel the need to connect Cheltenham
and
to Box Hill?
I mean, how does someone?
I suppose they've got a hospital in Box Hill.
Well, what? There's Lineker Hospital in Hampton.
Do you know what it is? I know what it is.
What is
it? So if you go down to Cheltenham, Cheltenham is a pretty, it's a pretty Australian area, right? Lots of just Aussies, born and bred Aussies, 3 and 4 generations, I don't know, from Ireland and Scotland.
From the boatfield, convicts. They've still got the chains on.
So that would be the demographic mainly down around that area. Okay. So what did they really want? They wanted Chinese restaurants.
That's it, they do. They want Vietnamese cuisine.
So if you go to Box Hill, some of the best Asian restaurants you will ever eat
Maybe
from.
that's it.
And they've got a range from street food to really upmarket restaurants. So I'm pretty sure that's what it was about.
That's it. You know what? And people are walking around saying, I can't get a good, san chow bao anywhere in Cheltenham. I've had enough of it. Correct. I'm off to Box Hill. That's it.
Build a railway line and build it and we'll come.
And the government heard their pleas. It heard the pleas of the people, Phil, and it said, you know what? We hear you. We know how badly you want to get some of that fantastic Vietnamese and Korean and Chinese food. That's it. We're stepping in to help.
Why would you? And why would you? This show's now losing its momentum and it's losing its direction. But if you think about it,
it's always been stupid, though.
You'd connect Cheltenham to Box Hill before you connected the CBD to the airport.
No.
That's just Why would you do that? Like, why would Melbourne,
That's right.
one of the most prosperous cities in the world, why would you connect the CBD to the airport like every other single city just about anywhere in the world when you can connect Aussies to Chinese food?
Well, what we can do is when people come to Australia and they arrive from a foreign country, they get to the airport and they say, we'd like to go in the city, can we get a train or something? They go, no, you can't get a train. But look, I'm telling you now, when you get to Cheltenham, you're going to have a surprise waiting for you. You're going to be a Box Hill in no time, and vice versa. Let's just move on, Philip, because we've got it's quite silly now. But anyway, 5 at 3 Stanley Avenue in Cheltenham. Well, very proud of that sale, Philip, because it was actually for sale with another agent. A couple of times I couldn't sell it, fell through, and then we picked it up. And young Daniel Peer has gone and knocked that off at auction for $720,000. So congratulations to the vendor and buyer alike.
Deconstruct an auction that you conducted on the weekend, Gary, in Marlborough Street.
Yes, but just be tasteful.
No. This is just an interesting case study. I mean, look, there could be some boast mixed into this, but there was an auction, I believe, in October of last year in Marlborough Street in the same development that you auctioned in on the weekend. Now,
absolutely.
The market between October and February, we could argue, probably gone up a couple of percentage points. There's no question.
Not much.
Better
Similar.
feeling in the market, but it's a similar,
marginally.
It's a similar market.
Something selling exactly the same.
Another agent who will remain nameless, somebody that we
no, just leave it there. Right,
we'll leave it there.
Yeah.
Sold it for a little bit over $1,100,000.
Well, we're not going to talk about the price, Phil, and that's wrong anyway. So it's just misinformation. The story is, and the point is, that we've sold our property for an undisclosed figure, but it was
in
hundreds,
the same development.
Same development, Philip, same size, condition very similar, maybe smidgen better, but not not hugely. But it sold for some $200,000 more,
20% more, Gary,
than the other one. So that is a tale of two agents as far as we're concerned. And no, I'm not here just to attack the competition, but the other agent. But just shows that we were able to get that fantastic result through our vast network. Well done to John Sweep. And congratulations to the vendor, who is the most delightful person and people. 15 Mayfield Grove was your first auction, Philip. That's also undisclosed. It was being quoted in the low to mid twos and did better than that.
We got the vendor's price that they would have loved to have achieved.
Yes.
Obviously would have sold for less than that.
Of course.
But a beautiful home. Malvern Grove's a great spot. And congratulations to those vendors who actually built this house, and it was a Victorian reproduction home, which on the surface of it can sound twee. But when I arrived at this property to do the video tour, I thought it was one of the best renovated period homes that I've ever seen, until they told me it was brand new. And you'd swear, because it was done really well, not in a twee manner, but just brilliantly. And I swore it was must have been a renovation of an original home.
A classic reproduction. Home. You can do it well, can't you? We should find out who that architect
was. That triangle,
was. Do you know
Gary,
who the architect was?
I don't know. The triangle there, Gary, of Dandenong Road, Normanby, Inkerman, Hawthorne Road. It's a bit of a triangle.
It is.
That's a great spot.
Yeah, Hawthorne, Dandenong Road.
You had an apartment in Malvern Grove that you were looking after.
I did.
That
just sold that
before auction.
It did, Phil.
We then sold Malvern Grove, and then, of course, if we can just keep in the same zone, 754 Inkerman. I don't know whether that's disclosed or undisclosed. We're going to check it as we speak. That has to be probably the best renovation I think I've ever seen.
And it is undisclosed, but it was being quoted in the high twos to low threes, Philip, and
sold well
it ran away.
Of that.
It ran away.
We had a really competitive auction. There were hundreds of people at that auction. We'll put some video up on screen as we speak. But that was an incredible home. Shout out to the vendors who did that incredible renovation, and a shout out to the buyers who, whilst they paid the full price, what they got is worth every cent.
Well, it's very similar to the auction I had in McKinnon Road, Philip, because I had an auction at 1:30 in McKinnon Road, in the heart of McKinnon. A beautiful property built by Omnicom Constructions, who we know do
one
the
of
best,
Melbourne's best builders.
The best stuff. And the auction was a little bit different to yours, because how many people do you think was at that auction?
I reckon I had 100 to 150 people.
So at McKinnon Road, I'm going to just tell it how it is. There was me. There was Ben Eisner, the agent. There was Jerry, our other new agent, who's a lovely guy, doing great. There was the vendor.
4.
And there was the buyer.
So there was 5 people at the
5
auction,
people,
of which 4 were totally related to the
sell,
property.
to the sell property. And
so tell me, did you go through the whole spiel, the whole song and dance?
You know what? I thought of it, and I thought, for this one person, I'm going to put on a show for this one person, and I just had a quiet word, and I said, look, if you're here to buy it, let's just talk. let's just do it.
Yep.
So anyway, and the buyer, lo and behold, bought it.
Fantastic.
And that was it.
What a great story.
So it was a happy story.
Viewers, you actually only need one person at your auction. One. You don't need the neighbours. You don't need your aunt flying in from Townsville because you need to make up the crowd.
Yep.
Why I chose Townsville, I've got absolutely no
why
idea.
not?
Far enough away to be an effort, but you need one person, and that person, if they're there to buy it, Gary, magic will happen.
So a lot of agents won't have the courage to tell you that story, you know, but that's the reality. Sometimes it could just be like that, and the auction process still has done its job, Phil.
Yep.
Which is a beautiful thing. Let's move on into Sunday, Philip, because we had an auction and a sale in Huntley Street in Brighton. That place by way McKinnon was quoted 5 to 550, sold in the range. So I'll just put it out there. But 1 Huntley Street, Brighton. Well, that was a popular auction with 2 bidders, and well done to Jeremy Rosens, who combined forces with Sally Zellman, and that one sold for the top of the range, Philip, at 1,850,000.
Huntley that's an interesting little position because whilst it's technically Brighton, right? It could be Elstonwick Gardenvale.
Could be.
It could be Elwood.
Could be.
So it's just a really interesting little pocket there where you can walk to Ormond Road, you can walk to Glen Huntley Road. Really good spot.
Now, the agents' convention happened at 1A Pullman Court, Philip, where we had a couple of agents who you had some fun with. This is the auctioneer.
I did, Gary.
Because they were both bidding, one on behalf of himself and one on behalf of the client.
Yep.
And, of course, the banter went back and forward, and it became like a matching of wits of the professionals, you might say. So well done to the agents. Thanks for putting up with him.
Yes, there's nothing like when the auctioneer has got 2 agents that
themselves auctioneers.
We've known for so many decades.
Veterans of the industry.
But, you know, it's interesting, Gary, isn't it? Because, you know, when you're going to go head to head, wit versus wit, right? And we had 3 wits.
That's right. There's a word that goes before that.
Correct.
We're not going to say what that's going to
Correct, but it does start with F. But when you combine those 3 wits, the question is, who would you back for being the fastest or the funniest or the cleverest? Well, if you're going with one of those as to who you think's going to be the winner, you're wrong. You've got to back the person that's got the microphone.
That's it. The mic wins every time. Although, you know, you got it served up to you a little bit. And it's always dangerous when you say to a competitor, how about my suit? Because you are setting yourself up for just a range of insults. And I could see the agent there just scanning through his mental list of comebacks. And he had a lot of armoury there. So well done to him. Anyway, we had some fun, and we do have some fun, Phil. 12A Lambert Road, well, that's a price that is disclosed, 1,660,000. Went over the range. Not everything goes over the range.
Funniest,
some do.
And we'll see whether this works on screen, but I've got this little clip.
Not passing it in, going to be sold. 1,660. Check this out. I love this.
Right, I'm right in the middle of the auction. It's quite a large crowd, there, and we hear this noise which sounds like a lawnmower, but a lawnmower that's coming at us.
Oh, right.
Right? So we kind of all look around, and I start laughing because there's this bloke comes through the middle of the auction, which was, he was sitting on what could only be described as a unicycle, a scooter, some sort of crazy bike, all lodged in together with a lawnmower engine strapped to it. And this bloke, I mean, you got to love this bloke because he looked crazy.
Yeah.
Right? Now, he probably wasn't, but he looked completely crazy. And he had a whole lot of stuff attached to the bike. Just sails through the middle of the auction. Everybody's just looking at it. We didn't know what or who this person was.
You don't know what's happened here. Well, this is what happens on the street. This is the beauty. If you go have rooms, auctions in rooms, that stuff doesn't happen.
Yeah.
That bloke couldn't have got up in a lift to a beautiful showroom to be able to do that. So we love that. And of course,
that went really well, that property though in Lambeth.
Yeah, it did.
Really good property. That position there is fantastic. We've sold now, Gary, literally most of that street.
We have, Phil.
And it always sells well.
And 3 bidders take the final result to $1,660,000. So Congratulations to
I'm
buy
going
and
to
sell
talk
alike.
quickly about a property that we auctioned on Sunday in Northcote Avenue.
Yeah, I was
Gary.
going to talk about
I'm going
that
to
too.
put that up on screen because this is a screamingly good buy.
Yeah, I love this place.
This has been designed by Michael Wald
It's got the lift
Architecture.
in it, hasn't it,
It's
this
been
one? Yeah.
built by Office AG from Olive Constructions. The developer is well known and really, it's a really good quality team. That will not sit around for long. Also want to put up a photo of, I don't know what this woman's name
I know
is,
her
but-
name. I went to school with the daughters,
well,
the twins.
let me tell you, this woman, she just made me melt. Just the most, I don't know how old this woman is. She's obviously quite senior.
Yes.
But
Be
got
careful.
Got her wits about her.
Be careful with that term,
Got
right?
her wits about her, I can tell you. But she was just, this is one of those magic moments where I sat down beside her and it was just gorgeous. You've got to love this business that you don't know what's going to happen next or who you're going to meet.
Well, the
next.
photos there of this lovely old dear, and she was really
Lovely
such a
old dear.
Well, she was. Can I say that?
You can't say she was a lovely old dear.
Oh, a dear senior lady.
She was a lovely woman.
She was a lovely woman.
She is a lovely
in her
woman.
senior years, even though we could well be in our
She's
seniors
this
as well.
lovely older woman.
Lovely older woman. Okay, here is an image of this
Lovely old dear.
lovely older woman who Philip happens to be sitting with, who has reported him to the REIV this morning for harassment. And anyway, that's an action coming at us. You can stand in the queue, but no, that's not true. But anyway, she was very engaged in it, and they are special people like that. And in fact, she just came from across the road because there is a place called Sheridan Hall across the road, which my father was in his later years, which is a wonderful facility, and she's loving it there. So
But I'll tell you
I'm
one
happy
thing about
yeah.
the Melbourne auction system is that because Melbourne holds most of its auctions on the street, everything's unscripted because you never know who's going to roll up or who's in a good mood, bad mood, and everything in between. And that's the joy of this business. You
love it.
Do not know what's going to happen.
It's a lot of fun, Philip. 20A Northcote Avenue in Caulfield North was my final auction, and that one sold for $1,376,000, just climbed over its range, Philip. So that one went well as well. But there have been some amazingly competitive results out there. 484 Marlborough Street, probably our most competitive. You made mention of that, and I had a little girl who's probably 10 years old come and place a bid in, which was gorgeous. But anyway, 484 Marlborough was probably the most popular.
The auction highlight of the week.
It
Sold
was
almost 20% over what the same one next door in the same development. Everything virtually the same in 4 months. That's phenomenal.
Let's talk a little bit about some of the offerings that we've got. We do have some midweek auctions coming up this
Gary.
week. Shall we review them?
Let's have a chat
You've
about
got them on your screen
the first
there.
one coming up on Wednesday, which is the 6th of March.
Tomorrow, Phil.
Tomorrow, Gary. Apartments numbers 1 through 11 at 18 Gerald Street. Come along. Matthew Morley has the option honours together with Jeremy Rosens. That's in Murrumbeena. What an amazing opportunity to buy 11 apartments. And that is in a great location. We love Murrumbeena, and that's an opportunity to pick up the entire block as an investor or sell them off individually, subject to council approval. Absolutely brilliant. That's at 1 o'clock on Wednesday. Then moving at 5:30, Gary, we've got such an honour to be selling number 11 Linlithgow Avenue, Caulfield North, for our original boss, Gary, who we learnt so much from.
We did.
And to this day, we can be forever grateful because many of the things that we've brought into our business over the years were inspired by his teachings.
And he's grateful for us for having left there. He's happy.
One of his happiest days was when we left the business. But 11 Linlithgow Avenue, that gives you the opportunity, Gary, to buy a really good 2-storey family home with a fabulous floor plan with all of the bedrooms and bathrooms, entertaining areas that looks out over the swimming pool, which overlooks a tennis court with lights. That's the complete package, and that's 11 Linlithgow.
And over 1,300 square metres of land. Huge block of
Incredible.
land. Huge parcel.
While we're doing that, Gary, at 5:30, just as we probably finishing, Lior will auction together with Aviv Samuel, number 64A Summerhill Road in Glen Iris. That's a great opportunity to get into the Glen Iris market. Beautiful suburb. That's well located, close to parks and shops and public transport. That's a ripper. That's Wednesday, the 6th of March. Thursday, the 7th of March, Gary. We do it all again.
We do.
Again, another block of apartments, 4 apartments at number 48 49A Tennyson Street,
Yeah.
Elwood. You've got to love that. That's
Beautiful.
what we call a bite-sized opportunity to buy something really good.
Art Deco
walking
glory, Phil.
distance to the beach, walking
Yep.
distance to Ackland Street, and of course the Blessington Street Gardens on your doorstep there as well. That is at 2 o'clock. At 6 o'clock, staying in St Kilda, Gary, we've got apartment number 19 at 41 Marine Parade in St Kilda.
Yes, I'm doing that auction.
That is an incredible location. It's going to be a peer show with Daniel being the salesperson and his dear father Gary doing the auction. So you'll have fun there.
Dear senior father.
And at 7 o'clock,
Yep.
we've got apartment number 54 at 417 Turak Road. That's at 7 o'clock. Nikki Janover's got the honours together with Jeremy Rosens. So we've actually got, if you think about it, 6 auctions midweek, 3 on Wednesday, 3 on Thursday. And we've got all of that happening, Gary, because it's the Labor Day weekend.
It is. We're off for the weekend, Philip, which we're looking forward to having a little bit of a mini break until the week after.
Correct.
Which is going to be a pumping, thumping weekend. I've got a few properties before we go just to review, Philip. This home at 143 Hawthorne Road, Caulfield North. This is a great period of home on a beautiful parcel of land, just a few doors from Baker Blue.
Gary,
Excited about this.
you want to buy that just to be able to walk out your front door, smell the bread from Baker Blue and go and buy it. But you've got the tram at your doorstep. You've got Baker Blue at your doorstep and all of those shops.
Yes.
And then, of course, you've got Caulfield Park and the Junction. That is a great location, a great opportunity.
Very affordable opportunity, Philip, and a very exciting one in Rosebud, not the suburb of Rosebud, but Rosebud Avenue, Moorabbin. I know Arlene Joffrey's been excited, jumping up and down about this 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom home with plenty of parking too. So that one's coming up. Keep a lookout for it. 3 Ward Avenue, Philip. How's that been?
What a house.
What a number of people.
What a
through.
house.
Good video. Tell us a bit about it.
Well, I love that house, Gary. When I arrived at that property, I thought, wow, this looks great from the outside. And then Arlene reminded me that it was designed by Michael Wold from Wold Architects, who we just know are one of the best architectural firms within the areas that we work and other areas too, of course. But that's a beautiful family home, perfectly laid out. It feels like it's as new. And one of the best features is the kitchen meals family room that overlooks through its concertina doors to the back garden and swimming pool. Bit of an oasis there in Ward Avenue.
Last one to talk about, Philip, is Linden, that wonderful block built by Michael Garfield on the corner of Kooyong Road and Balaclava Road, just over there.
That is somewhat of a signature property. That's a beautiful luxury apartment building. Having said that, viewers, it may not make the auction. Just a little bit of a heads up.
Okay.
Might be a sold sticker on it very soon.
Move fast on that one. That is a big wrap of a weekend that we've had. Some of the auctions upcoming, a few feature properties. It's all happening here. We are in March on GPTV. We'll continue to bring you all of the news. Thanks for watching. I'm Gary Pearce.
I'm Philip Kingston. Have a fabulous long weekend.